Okay, it's 9 a.m. So I think it's the right time to start today's event. So good morning to everyone. Welcome to this online event called Regions and Cities Fostering the Circular Transition. I'm very glad you accepted the invitation to join us and that you are here with us today. My name is František Janke. I'm coming from the Technical University of Košice from the Faculty of Economics, and I'm going to moderate today's event. And before we start, and before we move on to more thematic content, I would just like to briefly introduce the key technical information needed for the organization today. Firstly, this event is being recorded, so just for you to know, and it will be published. I mean, the parts that are public ones will be published afterwards. Then the guidelines you probably all know. So when you are not speaking, please turn your microphone off. When you are speaking, then turn it on, if possible. And mainly, if you are speaking, or when you are speaking, turn your camera on. It's always better to see who is talking. And the last relates to questions and remarks. Either you can use the chat feature, so you can write your question or remarks in the chat in this platform, or wait for the dedicated moment. Typically, after the presentations, there will be a part when you will have a chance to either ask something, which is if something was not clear, or to add some remark. I would just to really recall the first part of the event. The first session is rather workshop than the seminar, so it would be really nice to hear also your remarks or how you see the things. So you are really welcome to add your ideas. We meet here today in the framework of the Citycircle project. Although most of us are familiar with it, I will really quickly present what the Citycircle project is about. Citycircle project is the joint project for the joint activity of 11 organizations coming from 6 countries of Central Europe. It is supported by the Interact Central Europe program, and it deals with the topic of the circular economy. We probably all know that the circular economy is the economic system which aims to keep resources in use for longer. By resources, we mean materials, energy, products, equipment, and infrastructure. And thus, we are improving the productivity of these resources. The main goal of the Citycircle project is to initiate the processes that would result in the utilization of the circular economy innovation potential in the cities which are on the periphery of Central Europe. And to do so, the Citycircle project is delivering the supportive package or the mix of. We are setting up the circular economy hubs in these regions in order to establish linkages among key stakeholders. We are educating the stakeholders and providing them with the tools so they can manage the innovation processes related to circular economy, or we help them to implement or deploy circular economy solutions. We are piloting the circular economy solutions in selected domains, and we are also setting up transnational circular economy value chains, either innovation networks and the marketplace for critical materials. But coming back to agenda for today, within this project we have really a lot of to share or to present to interested parties. So today we prepared 3 different sessions for you. First one is the experience exchange workshop, where we will deal with the lessons learned from the pilot implementations in the cities of Košice, Varaždin, Udine, Kranj, and Dornbirn. This in these areas, the pilot projects just started, so we are not looking back over the whole implementation, but we will meet for this experience exchange workshop partly after a shorter period, and we will look at this closer period of the pilot implementation. Then there's a session dedicated for the training on business models for SMEs and circular business models for SMEs. So you will learn about a variety of circular economy business models for them that enterprises can utilize. And these first two parts are public and fully open to anybody interested, and we will also publish the outcomes of this to you later on. And then we have a break, and after that, the joint training for Citycircle Hub staff members is planned. This one is more in the private mode, and it's especially for the staff members which are operating within the Citycircle project. So if you are an external party, you have to be aware that providing this or being part of this training, you are becoming the I'm not sure I'm not yeah, it's classified as undertakings of the de minimis state aid, so you need to be aware of it. So what I will start with the first part with this experience exchange workshop, and I would like to briefly introduce or explain what do we mean by this workshop, what is the purpose. So within these workshops, we would like to share experience we gained within our pilot projects, but also we are open to any other experience from external parties. We would like to get inspirations or inspire the others with the activities we do. We would like to collect or identify and collect the lessons learned, because we would like to learn more for the future projects. What are the activities that work and which activities do not work when coming to real life. And not least, we would like to also identify joint interests of our regions, or so we know what transnational actions we can take jointly to cope with the issues we have in the regions. So within this workshop, we would like to move with these four categories of actions. This workshop is, as I mentioned in the beginning, is not the only workshop that will be organized. We will have a series of them, and we will have a series of 4 of them. This one is the first one. It should take place every 4 to 6 months, and at these workshops, we are also giving you, or the external partners, giving you the chance to showcase your similar initiative. So we're also open to your experience, and we would like to learn from it. And also, as we would like to identify and collect lessons learned, and we would like to provide you with the feedback or give you some guidelines how the project should be organized in the future to work better or to be more efficient, or even to identify joint interests. We are also supporting these workshops with the community, with the platform we created at the Facebook. So this will be the channel where we would like to always share what is new. We will also share our outputs, what we gathered within the workshops with you, and we will also identify joint approaches for future, hopefully for future collaboration. So we created this Facebook group for you, and I would like to invite you to be a part of it. Right now in the chat, you can find the link where you can join us. So you have the link here. I will also share this presentation with you later, but even you have a link in the chat, so you can join us. It's a part of our Facebook account, the Facebook page we have for the Citycircle, which is very active and which really brings really nice information from the world of circular economy. So I really would like to invite you not only to join this group, which is like very specialized and thematic, but also to follow our page, because you can see plenty of interesting articles there. And the other option is to visit our Facebook page, and then you can go to the section of groups, and there you will find this group. You can also join it in this way. Okay, but coming back to today's experience exchange workshop, today you are going to hear the presentations from 5 cities. We will go in this order. So firstly, we will hear from Košice, Slovakia, then Varaždin from Croatia, Udine, Italy, Krain, Slovenia, and Dornbirn, Austria. The representatives from these areas, or these regions or cities, will present you what they have done within last 6 months and what they have learned from it. So you will mostly see the initial part of when the pilot projects were being started. By the pilot projects, we mean the actions which will showcase what is the potential of circular economy to wider audience in the region. So we are like flag projects which are showing how does the economy work and what are the benefits. So I would like to now ask Barbara Kovačová from EGTC Via Carpathia, who will present the latest development in Košice, Slovakia, and I will make her presenter. So give me a second.
Good morning, everyone.
You should now have the opportunity to share your screen.
Yeah, I have. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen and I can see your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, František. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Barbara Kovačová. I'm working in EGTC Via Carpathia, which is the project partner in a Citycircle project. Today, I would like to put you in bigger picture about the pilot concept which is implemented in Košice region. So, first of all, I would like to say a few words how or why we decided to implement the pilot concept in agriculture. Within the creation process of the application form of Citycircle project, both partners decided to set up the pilot in agriculture and forestry. The topic was defined by Technical University and EGTC according to their previous activities and their experiences. The pilot concept of Košice region is implemented in Košice self-governing region, which is a regional authority. And what I would like to mention is that the Košice self-governing region is the founder, and he is responsible for the secondary schools within the region, and also for the canteens which are operated next to the secondary schools. So our pilot concept is focusing on 3 main activities, which are the comprehensive analysis of the opportunities in the flow of agri-food products through the food value chain in our canteens, then the analysis in consumption level, the processes of the canteens in the responsibility of the Košice self-governing region, which will be made by the Citycircle project. And then we would like to create the in-depth map of the agri-food products flow with possible loops and other channels, reducing and preventing the level of food waste which will be generated within the pilot. Based on the indicated scope of the Citycircle pilot project, the overall goals was set up by Technical University and EGTC. The main message within the Citycircle project is that we would like to support the decision-making process of the actors in agriculture. So they will start thinking about the circular economy solutions. And if they will start to think, then we would like, or we have to provide them with proper informations and tools, so they will express their willingness to implement this circular economy principle and changes in their organizations. To reach this main goal, 6 specific objectives were set up. You can see it on the screen. And during the last first months, first 2 specific objectives were reached by the project partners. So what was done until now? The first activities in the pilot analysis of the state of art of circular economy solutions and models, together with the analysis of existing best and good practices were made. We were using different types of sources like publications in the field of green and circular economy, web pages of special organization of organizations which are specialized in circular and green topics. And we also use the social media and the articles which we could find mainly on Facebook, but also on other internet activities. The aim of this was to establish the live list of appropriate good and best practices circular economy solutions in the form that within the project we would like to create the online database. The important thing that I would like to mention is that the Košice self-governing region is the founder of a social, cultural, and school facilities. So during the collection, we paid separate attention to the examples in these institutions, and we reported the examples individually according to these 3 categories. Until now, we have 330 records, which you can find in this online database. In this slide, I put some of good some of examples. For example, the food that doesn't cost the earth, a circular economy guide for the food service industry. The guide gives you or give to the food businesses the practical steps that they can take by using 5 circular food business principles, which are buy less, buy smart, use resources more efficiently, throw away less, and throw away smarter. These examples were took by most impactful and inspirational ones that we can use in the next phases of the on-spot analysis of food waste management in our school canteens. So all these experiences and knowledges from best practice collection will serve us in 2 different ways. The first one is that in next stage of our pilot action, we would like to test the circular approaches in our canteens. So we would like to analyze the waste flows, and we also would like to design new processes, opportunities, and studies. And on the other hand, we would like to create a platform where all these best practices will be presented, and this platform will be online. In order to increase the attractiveness, the special graphical elements like pictures and so on will be, and infographics, for example, will be used. So the next steps that we have to take is the on-spot analysis of food waste management in canteens, which will take place in Košice region. And we would like to establish the contacts and to interconnect better the pilot canteens of schools and social facilities with other organizations. So we will work closely with identified stakeholders within our region. So thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Thank you, Barbara. So firstly, if there was something not clear, firstly, I would like to ask you to ask questions, and then I would like to also ask you to think of lessons learned, what you think you can take out of it. So do we have any questions?
František, Luc speaking. I would have a question, which is not directly for enabling the others to warm up, not directly related to the content or the understanding of the praxis, but I found very interesting your collection of good practices, and I understand they will be online. So my question, will it be online also in English and available for us as a project to disseminate further on European level? This could be quite interesting because you seem to dive really deep into one specific topic. So that could be a good added value to our knowledge base if it's available for the consortium.
Yes, thank you for this question. It was actually, as you mentioned, that firstly we were trying to search something which is relevant for us, and then when we were mainly we were downloading the nice articles and information on good practices in English, and then we were translating them to Slovak. But then we realized, okay, but when we already have the English part, it's a pity not to make at least bilingual version or multilingual version. So this is what we are really thinking of, to make this knowledge base, let's say, or even the whole portal that we will produce not only in Slovak but at least in bilingual way, so English and Slovak. So yes, we really thought of this, that it would be really beneficial for the project, but also for the rest of the stakeholders to see it. So yes, we would like to prepare the English version as well.
Yeah, thank you, František, for answering the question. I'm sorry, I realized that I didn't have the camera on, so I'm sorry for that. You cannot see me during the presentation. Yeah, most of the best practices and the analysis of the best practices were from other states. So mostly we have the information in English. But we have also the inspired examples in Slovakia. So I think that František answered your question.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you too.
Any other questions or remarks? I cannot see any.
I think no.
Yes, I cannot see any in the chat. Maybe one more question, Barbara, to you, because okay. I gave you the homework to all of the presenters to to try to formulate, let's say, the lessons learned, or what is something you would recommend to others when they would replicate, or what is something you would recommend the others to do when implementing projects like this in their own regions, circumstances. Can you form something?
Mm-hmm. For me, I think that a lot of things were done by other institutions, by other organizations, which were which inspired us by using the existing knowledges and principles that works in other countries, and we can use it here in Slovakia. So I think that this is the best way in this Central Europe project, or these bigger projects, that you can share the experiences and you can speak with the experts which done the procedure, which have already done the procedures in their country. So this is the most inspirative form for me, that we are at the beginning, but we can learn from others. We can share the experiences, and we can set up the good models and practices in Slovakia, which are functioning in other regions and countries or organizations.
Yes, I fully agree, and I would also add that by this you are saving a lot of efforts, because, for example, some of the projects really prepared really nice and detailed guidelines how to implement the change in the kitchens and stuff like this. So this will also save a lot of efforts in our team to prepare something like this, because it's already prepared. So this is also the recommendation. It's wise to look around if there's something like you would like to do, if there's something already existing, and if yes, try to replicate it, because you are saving and you are more efficient. Thank you very much, Barbara.
Yeah.
Thank you to František.
František, in the German university, they used to say 1 day in the library can save. The other way around, as a joke. 6 months in the laboratory can save you 1 day in the library. So it's always worse to go 1 day in the library, probably.
Exactly. Thank you for this note. Okay, so if there are not any more questions, I would like to move to our second presenter. So now we are going to hear about development in Varaždin in Croatia, and
Hello.
This will be presented. Is there any question? Oh, or is it you, Nikolina?
It's me.
Okay, so it will be presented by Nikolina Zsigmond from Development Agency North from Varaždin, and I'm just trying to. I found you in the list, so I made you presenter. So from now on, you should be able to share your screen. You can see it. Yes, it works.
It works. Okay. I just have to go back. I don't know how to go back. What doesn't matter. Okay. Hello from Croatia, from Varaždin. As you heard, my name is Nikolina Zsigmond. I'm senior consultant in Development Agency North, and I'm project leader for project partner DAN. And today I'm going to present you the pilot project in Varaždin, which we called Bioeconomy in Varaždin. You already heard our presentation on the European weeks and regions, so it's going to be replicated. We wanted to test with that pilot project to test and demonstrate potential benefits of circular economy as the part of Citycircle project. Our aim was to raise awareness among city markets users about the need to waste sorting, which will reduce the amount of municipal waste generated at the market. We wanted to get or to represent on the end of the project a valuable blueprint for the policymakers to stimulate the progress from a linear towards the circular economy. Then how we are going to do that? Then we will separate collected organic waste, which will be treated in biogas plant, where digest will be produced to be used as a fertilizer for hazelnut plants, which is owned by the city market. On this way, together with our stakeholders from the city of Varaždin, we will close the circle in the circular economy. We have defined with our external experts for circular economy some milestones. Those milestones look like as you could see on the slide. So we already done our concept, which is confirmed. After this, we procure and strategically place the waste of beans, its complete activity. Ongoing activity, successful separation of waste. We already have the first result, which I'm going to show you later on the slide. Right now, we are doing the analyzing of the digest, the analyzing of the soil. This is activity which is ongoing. We are hoping to do production of high quality of digest, and after that, we are going to use that digest on the 5-year-old hazelnut farm. On the end, we are hoping to have a successful harvest of the hazelnut. But the most important is to gain the network of the quadruple helix network stakeholders, which are going to work cooperatively on those activities. As František asked us, we have to show our lessons which we learned in our project. I found that very difficult because we are very early in early stage of our pilot. But what I could conclude, the good collaboration and communication between partners and associates is actually key to pilot implementation. It has to be almost on an everyday basis. Then choosing good experts, it's the key to successful implementation, what we have proven in the past 6 months. Also, we have to be aware that there will be no readiness from all users to participate in the pilot. So even some of them, they refuse to participate. We have 83 tenants on the city market users. So you also have to find some way how to reach them, how to encourage them to participate. So how we are doing this? We have very good cooperation with our associate on the project. That's Open City Market Company. As you could see on the slide, the city market company, actually the green market tradition is Croatia is very, very strong. The market is place where local farmers directly sell their products, but it's also a place where by the culture people meet and well, the old news about the city life are spread actually. So we conclude that that's the perfect location to introduce the new sustainable principles of the circular economy. And in fact, to that goes the fact that there is produced a large amount of biodegradable waste. It's around 59 tons of waste through the year. So we choose those partners, which is very collaborative to start to separate the waste with their tenants. In favor to that go that they're also the owner of the 5-year-old hazelnut plant. Our second stakeholder, it's Čistoća, that's waste management company. They're responsible for public service and waste management in Varaždin County. We have long-term cooperation on other projects. In this project, they are monitoring system and of separately collected waste. So they are doing our data to know how much waste is sorted. They also will have a role to deliver those separate biodegradable waste to the bioplant OPG Vrček, family farm Vrček. That's a small SME family farm Vrček, which has built a biogas plant. They are actually have agricultural farm which has in the last 25 years it's engaged in the pig breeding. They have built 250 kilowatt-hours biogas power plant next to the farm, and now they're using the slurry from the farm with addition of organic mass as a renewable energy of sources. Highly nutrition-rich fertilizer or digest is result of fermentation for this eco-field fertilization. So that's our very important stakeholder in the pilot project, and it's very collaborative and willing to help us to implement our pilot. Other partners on this pilot are we, Development Agency North. We have overseen conducting management and coordination of the pilot project on the local and regional level. We do that together with another project partner, City Municipality of Varaždin, who is also our founder. They are a representative of public authority, so they provide all the support needed for easier implementation of the pilot project and transition towards circular economy. Our external expert for circular economy, Krotech Ltd, they are actually responsible for design of clear, consistent pilot project and for the implementation and communication with stakeholders. We also have two partners from scientific community. There are two stakeholders, that's Faculty Organization Informatics and Faculty of Geotechnical Engineering, Department of the Environmental Engineering. They're both leading faculty in northwest of Croatia, and actually they are giving a big contribution to some complex environmental problems which we are discussing with them. What I would say, so the meetings are actually the most important parts and lessons which we have learned in that pilot phase. Without meetings, wouldn't be able to implement that project. So we have them on the regular base with all stakeholders. We have several also meetings on the field of hazelnut plants. Communication is really important for implementation of that project. That's the lessons which we have learned. In activity determination of quantity of and composting to market waste, we have established monitoring system, and also the lessons which is important, the good coordination and constant communication between done with Krotech, Čistoća, open market, it's crucial. Also, we have to do those communication and promotional activities for the placement of the waste bin. We have to boast willingness of all 83 city markets tenants to participate. We use also promotional activity to boast those willingness. In the separation, collection and treatment of waste, also the good cooperation and communication is the key between tenants, public society, open market, waste management company, family farm. So our waste management company will transport the collected biodegradable waste for treatment to biogas plant. In activity soil and digest sampling and analyzing, which we are just doing. It's in the progress. The sampling of soil from Hazelnut Farm are taken, and also digest from the biogas plant. So in this phase, we have to develop a good cooperation with Croatian Agency for Agriculture and Food, and also Ministry of Agriculture Administrative for professional support to development on agricultural and fisheries. They give us their instructions how to use the digest, in which quantities, which periods. So without that communication, we wouldn't be able to get exact and concrete measures. As you could see, we already have partial results in the past 6 months, actually until August 2020. We actually managed to lower the mixed municipal waste for 30%. And we raised the bio-waste for some 25%. We are very satisfied with the result, and we are hoping to continue with those good results. So, as I already said, project communication is very important. It's really important to introduce to the public what we are doing, to the citizens of the Varaždin. So we've done promotional notice for all 83 beneficiaries. We have labels for our beans. We have media press release. So the citizens of Varaždin are informed. Also, we've done educational material to inform all the tenants how to properly waste sort. Many of them, they didn't know how to use. So hopefully we are on the good track. That's all what I would say for our pilot project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions or remarks? I cannot see any, but maybe I would ask one. You mentioned that some of the tenants were not really happy about this change. Did this campaign you did, I mean, was it successful, or there are still some of them like not willing to change their behavior? And if yes, I mean, do you have any idea how to even cope with this? I mean, maybe you didn't have enough time, you know, and you not have much, I mean, a lot of effort to I mean, persuade everyone. But if you had, what would you do?
But I think that's normal human attitude. Some of them, they're so happy. They even ask for 2 sets of beans. We would like to have more of them. And the others were refusing. Why we do have to? That's a hassle. We don't want to do that. So actually, it's not. We could do some promotional activities just to raise awareness of importance. But actually, you can't force anyone because we are not eligible. There are some possibility from open market company to do some penalties, but actually they are very cautious with those activities. So we would have to wait for the law to be penalized.
Yeah, I think even making it public and I mean having good promotion towards the general public, this is also pressure for which might work for these tenants, because if someone who is buying, for example, these vegetables, and he comes to the market and he sees that the tenant is not behaving properly, he can talk about it. So even making the pressure from the general public is a good way to move forward. So yes, I think you did this. So congratulations. Okay. Yeah, any other questions or remarks? If not, we will move to next presenters. We will move to Italy, to Udine, and the developments will be presented by Mattia Cotes from University of Udine. I will give him the right. try to present. Just a second. Okay, Mattia, from now on you should be able to present your screen.
Thank you, Francisca. I think that now you can see my presentation.
Yes, we can see your presentation and we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Mattia Cotes from the University of Udine, a young researcher in the Polytechnic Department of Engineering and Architecture. First of all, I bring the greetings from Patrizia Simeoni, that is Rector Delegate at the University of Udine for Energy and Environment and Professor of Industrial System Engineering, and Giovanni Cortella, that is Professor of Thermodynamic and Heat Transfer and Refrigeration Plants at the University of Udine, that could not be present here today with us. So, okay. University of Udine is a young university founded in 1978 as part of the reconstruction plan of the Friuli-Venezia Giulia region after the 1976 earthquake. And for this reason, our third mission is to provide assistance to the community by transferring its innovative technology, new methods, and skills to the territory. This is the only university in Italy that was born for a population will after, as I say, the earthquake disaster. And the University of Udine is a small university, but has a big network of expertise covering all the areas of the research, from mathematics to physics, and from engineering to economic and statistics, and law and cultural heritage studies. It has also a strong knowledge on energy solution with systemic approach. For example, it carried on studies on district solutions, such as the Manzano district solution, where a thermovalorization plant has been designed, and also the food district of San Daniele, where 3-generation plant connecting all the companies has been designed. From these studies, it appears that the territory dictates the path from projects with a view to circularity, and from this came the idea of this pilot project. So the first lesson that we learned within this project is that you have to learn to watch the territory and its needs. In this case, from a territory, it was seen the presence of thermal waste and other materials deriving from the construction of a waste treatment plant that can be synergistically used by the facility of the surrounding industrial area in an energy and more environmental efficient way. The presence also in the area of 2 service plants, a waste treatment plant undergoing conversion, and a municipal water purification plant that can be connected together. And finally, the presence of an adjacent industrial area with the productive realities with plants and production infrastructure, and also a connection with international mobility system too. So now we come to the second lesson, that is listening the territory. We aim to connect different needs that are often complementary. So the definition of the working group and the stakeholders for this project came naturally because it is a consequence of the second lesson, and it facilitates the development of common interest between the different stakeholders, albeit they are different, because they all operate in the same territorial area. So this immediately found favor with the first 2 stakeholders that are involved in the project. The first one is NET. NET is a company that provides the service of waste collection, transport, and treatment, serving up 354,000 inhabitants over 57 municipalities in the region. The company is revamping the organic waste treatment plant, transforming it into an anaerobic digester with electricity, heat, and biomethane production. The new plant allows to close the waste supply chain, passing from a linear economy vision to a circular economy one. Biomethane will be used in waste collection vehicles, and the company is interested in recovering the waste it produced by the internal cogeneration plant. And due to big amount of heat available and waste water also deriving from this plant. This made the second stakeholder available to accept this waste water and heat. So it opened the interest of the second stakeholder, that is CAFC. CAFC is a private law company under public control that manages water supply, wastewater collection and treatment, serving 123 municipalities in the region. It is interested in the project for a better exploitation of the excess heat of the cogenerator. So the first step of the pilot project is the symbiosis of these two stakeholders' plants. The symbiosis is based on exchange of both energy and matter. So the possible technology that will be implemented are heat exchanger for direct utilization of the recovered heat and cogeneration of heat and power from the biogas produced by the plants. And the exchange, of course, of the waste mass flows to feed the anaerobic digestion of the two plants. Now the initiative, another energy-intensive center in the area has expressed its interest in the project, and we are talking about Udine Mercati, which total surface area is about 150,000 square meters. It regroups 30 different companies within it, and it's interested in project for renewing its facilities to improve internal logistic and reduce energy consumption, mostly deriving from cold energy needs. And thus we arrive at the second step of the pilot project, which is the symbiosis between the Udine Mercati and the two previous stakeholders. Since the aim of this step is the production of cold energy, the technologies used will be absorption and electric chillers for the conversion of the heat and power produced by the two different plants that I talked about before into cold energy, and the cryogenic upgrade of biogas into biomethane, exploiting the cold energy produced. This is a brief timeline overview of the work program done before till now. Due to the COVID pandemic, we encountered some delays in the face-to-face activities, such the visit to the plant, but we coped with them, and it didn't stop us from completing the technology identification and the scenario identification. At the moment, we are approaching the preliminary solution phase that will be the focus of the work in the next months. And also summarizing what's done before till now, the two lessons to remember so far are that the bottom-up approach, so the designing the intervention based on the territory needs and the neighboring stakeholders, is fundamental to create circular economy chains, and that the pilot project is a good practice aimed at recovering waste energy in line with the circularity principle. So from me, that's all for today. So I thank you very much for your kind attention, and yeah, this is my contact if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions or remarks? I must say, when you were presenting these technologies, I mean, for me, it would definitely work to see the infographics, how it worked, I mean, how it moves from one part to another, because I was getting lost. But I think in the future, this presentation will be more clear, and this is, this is the way how to present the things, that how the flow goes. But okay, just a remark, and one more thing, because this pilot seems to be very, I would say, fund consuming. I mean, if you would like to see this in reality, I mean, there's a plenty of things, even technological, that must be changed, implemented. I mean, I understand that you will just start or initiate this process within the Citycircle project, but very briefly speaking, of very brief question, how far are you with implementation like this? I mean, how much it takes? Is it 5 years or 10 years to to change, to implement these flows, and even to to also to incorporate the plans of, for example, of this Mercato? Okay, so how close you are, or how far you are when you would like to see something like this in reality?
Okay, then I think that the project can be concluded within 5 years, also because as the net new plant is at the moment under construction, so they are physically building it now, and the new technologies are they don't need so huge infrastructures, because the cask and net plants are right one next to the other. So we are talking about less than 100 of meters of distance between the two. So also the connecting pipes on infrastructure will be very short. And also, so the technology to connect the two is not so difficult to build. Regarding Udine Mercati, is a bit far, a little bit more far than these two, but it's within the 1 kilometer of distance from these two plants. So also that one is not really far. They also, it's considering that for the Udine Mercati, we are talking about energy, heat or cold energy flow. We are talking about building a line of pipes that is nothing much different from a district network. It is a district heating network, so it can be realized in a really short time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Remarks? If not, I cannot see any either in the chat, or I cannot see anybody unmuted. So we will now move on to Slovenia, to Kranj, and the current developments will be presented by Maria Ahačić-Premrl, who is coming from municipality of Kranj. And now, Maria, you should be able to present. We can see you. We cannot hear you yet.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can see your presentation.
Okay. So you see everything?
Yes, we can see it.
You see my presentation. Okay. So hello again from my side as well. So I will represent our pilot project, what we are doing in Kranj. First, I will start with a little bit of what the scope of the project was, because through the Citycircle project, the municipality of Kranj intends to explore, test, and refine approaches on land management on the principles of circular economy. So we also want to create an approach that will enable urban regeneration, all that in collaboration with landowners and users. So we find urban space as a limited source and a key resource for enabling a sustainable, circular, and prosperous development of the city. For that reason, we choose this Primskovo zone area because we found it a little bit underused, and entering the city, we want to develop this zone or renovate it so that it will be more how to say for the users and also for the owners, more likely to use. And so the objectives and goals was the depth analysis of the Prinskovo area, so that we could understand what is going on and what the owners and users are seeing. The next phase would be setting up the network, because we want to cooperate with landowners and users that that we can develop the joint established location. And with this old database and information collected, we would upgrade our municipality information system, that we could have better solutions to support competitiveness of this business location, and use it also for other location in Kran. So the current status, we are in phase 1 and 2, because we realized that we are setting up the network during the analysis. So far, we already did 22 interviews with stakeholders, so different companies, landowners, or users of this Prinskovo area. And we also had an external expert that prepared 2 simulations of possible development of Prinskovo area. On that basis, what we have already collected so far. And this database contains, as you see from the picture, different areas, so different statuses of the land, so list of plots, list of users, landowners, and so this is the basis for analysis and interviews with the owners, so that we know what they are doing, how much space they have, how much company area is there. And so this is a basis also for how to revitalize this area, and also for to upgrade the information system, what we will do in the future. So I will now show you 2 of simulation of possible variant, what we prepared. Well, the external expert did this. So there are 2 of this development that should be in a collaboration with landowners. We want to present them. We didn't did that yet, but we present this to our municipality leaders, to the mayor and other staff. And this is the first variant. So you see there's like a one big dominant with this blue building into entering in this zone, and there's also some trees involved and some traffic solution. And the next variant should be like that. This is this line buildings, and also with trees and some roundabouts in plan. So what we expect from this, that with this work, we should raise awareness of circular economy. So we also expected, and it's for sure that it will be the result, that some principles of circular economy will be in use. We want to create a network of stakeholders in this area, and to get some information about communal infrastructure, and for sure for the whole database, for upgrade the information system, what we want to create. And yeah, the main of today's presentation should be lessons learned, what we learned from all this work so far. We find personal interviews are the most important. No emails or phones or some other personal contact is the most important. So you get a lot of other information from stakeholders. You see if they understand what you want to ask them. they are more willing to cooperate, and we see now also from this Corona crisis, yeah, we miss that someone is in front of us and speaking to us. So yeah, but we also found out that this take more time that we expected. So we use more than 1 hour per owner or per stakeholder. Landowners and other stakeholders are really willing to cooperate because we did a good choose of. So there's always one representative from municipality. Mostly this was Alexandra. Maybe she could add something in the end, but I was present in first interviews, and there's also one external expert who knows about how to revitalize urban space, and he's really good in how to say speaking to the businesses. So he knows what to say if they are not in the real mood or something. If they are angry about the municipality, he can calm them down, and that everything goes slightly then. And they are so positively surprised because they do not expect that the municipality has an active role for this pilot area and also circular economy. So they are so surprised and so well. All the interviews were really, really great and positive. So the connections between owners and stakeholders in this zone Prinskovo are limited only for the necessary. So we found this is a key issue that we have to build on, that connection between them would be better. So we also want to do some platform when we were building this network of stakeholders. And knowledge about circular economy is not as high as we expected. So although they are different businesses, they are not yet knowing all the business models for circular economy. They know only a few of them, of recycling and so. And yeah, during these interviews, because we were also asking them if they have a free space or empty places, and within these interviews we already find some links between, because one stakeholder needed place and the other had it. So it was great that we can give them information about between them, and then they do it by themselves. So this was okay. And also some of the industrial symbiosis could be done, we found out, because one company has production and has extra heat, and the next building could use it, but I think this is more technical and they would have to do it by themselves. I hope we had some opportunity to learn them or to give them some like this exchange experience, that maybe they find some solutions for that as well. What we get also other information that we didn't expected before, like we know about the traffic problems and needs over the zone Prinskovo. We thought that there is everything okay, but actually it's not. So we have to also think that when we were planning our master plan, or so, that we also include this. And they also have some environmental needs, because there is one company which collects different waste, and they don't need this company would be there. Also, they are willing to go on the other location, but we have to find it within the city. They need a better cooperation with municipalities. So they, like I said, they were really surprised when we called them and asked them if they want to have interview with us. So it was always the other way. So when they need something from us, they didn't get any information, and now it's around. And yeah, what we also found that landowners have different development needs. So also for the master plan, so we will include these needs when we will do a new plan. And yeah, about the new circular economy business models, they are not so on a high level. So I think it should be more done also in that. Yeah, while we were analyzing and getting the information from the landowners, we also realized that we get the valuable information. So, for instance, there was one investor at like 14 days ago at our municipality, and they needed space, so we give them information about zone principle in real time. So they were very satisfied when we get them right on time. And so this is a good thing to have valuable information. So we will sure do this. Well, while testing this pilot project, we find that we should do this also on other business locations in Kran. And for the end, yeah, pandemic crisis is a big and challenging issue. We planned an event with stakeholders, and also these interviews now actually stopped because we are kind of locked down working from home. So it is a big challenge, and I hope we will manage to engage the stakeholders also online, unless we would like that would be a real event in future. So I really hope that this will be possible. So thank you for your attention, and if you have some questions, just ask.
Thank you. Any questions or remarks?
I would have a question, František, to Marika, or if it's expected, then, or if it's already foreseeable, then that the pilot will become to some extent the model for the dealing with buildings and land in Kranje, that it will be a full circular economy approach to that. Is it already foreseeable that it will make school, let's say, and become the rule for dealing with buildings and lands?
Sorry, Luke, it was something I didn't hear you well, but as I understand, you're asking if we plan to use circular economy for land management, or
as a systematic way to deal with land and building management, yes, in the city. If it's going to be, if you think it's on its way to be the new the basic, the standard for Kranje for dealing with land and buildings.
Yeah, we realize that because the land is limited source, and we want to protect agricultural land and to not go to green fields while having a lot of empty urban space which are not in good shape. So I think this pilot project will be a good test if this is possible to take under the circular economy principles or approach, because we see that we are not taking only for land, we also connect stakeholders and learning them for different circular economy, not just for land, but also for others. So I think it will be a win-win when we do this on all areas that are degraded or will be in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? We're running out of time, so I cannot see any quick questions. So I would like to thank you, Maria, for your presentation, and we are moving to Dornbirn, to Austria, and the developments will be presented by Bojana Suzic from University of Applied Sciences Vorarlberg, and I would like to make you a presenter. Yes, from now on, Bojana, you should be able to present.
Good morning, everyone. Hello. Just give me a second, please. So I guess that now you see my screen.
Yes, we can hear you and we can see your screen.
So first of all, I apologize for not being able to use my camera today due to some technical issues with internal camera, but in next sessions I will use camera because external one is on the way already. So I hope this is not a problem. So in the beginning of my presentation, I will just shortly represent our pilot, and this pilot has its focus on new advanced manufacturing technologies, which are actually crucial to bring a change and implement policy objectives related to circular economy in general. And these technologies actually are actually, these technologies are changing the way how sectors are approaching manufacturing industry, and how these technologies can be used to provide a fertile ground in utilization of circular economy principles and practices. So this is one of top topics in the world, and it's also interesting for us because from the perspective of smart specialization strategy in Vorarlberg, the focus of initiative is also on these technologies, on intelligent production, and also on advanced manufacturing. And particular attention is placed on optimization of business operations, on maximization of energy efficiency, and promotion of a more efficient use of resources. And also this strategy promotes bio-based industries. It also promotes flexible production, and it focuses on the efficiency and quality in manufacturing beyond other possibilities of advanced manufacturing. In this regard, the main activities of our pilot refer to trying to study, to try to design, to test, to promote, and to use open business models in advanced manufacturing, which are actually based on the principles of circular economy. And this way, through implementation of circular economy strategy in Vorarlberg, the goal actually is to find new ways to support and to promote production of high technology outputs, which actually would further strengthen the image of Vorarlberg as innovation center. And this approach also helps in development of Austrian circular economy roadmap, which we still don't have. So here is the list of specific activities foreseen in the future implementation of our pilot. As you can see, our pilot has just started, and the main activities performed so far, they relate to the identification of best practices which are relative to the use of circular economy business models in advanced manufacturing and in green innovation. And as you can see in some later stages, we will have some stronger base to provide more concrete lessons learned and recommendations. But still we have some interesting thoughts maybe to share with you today. So speaking more clearly,
to summarize these actions, the first 6 months of the pilot, they were committed to the analysis of circular economy practices which are already taking place in Vorarlberg. And within actually this activity, we wanted to set up foundation for future test scenarios. And here our stakeholders from industry, from local authorities and from citizen sectors would also participate actively in this process of transition towards circular economy. And here the main focus of this first activity was on identifying some new solutions that have potential in application to the local context. And in this regard, we organized a series of meetings, also discussions with our stakeholders. And as I already said, we studied best practices in relation to our pilot. So far, we included a range of stakeholders from SME sectors, also from diverse industrial sectors, such as wood and construction industry. And also we cooperated with textile and timber representatives, industrial representatives, and we also included local authorities from the perspective of a municipality and also from the perspective of our region. So with this in line, we have identified possible regional industrial manufacturing potentials of circular economy application, which would aid in innovating manufacturing processes. So these discussions served to actually identify common strategies that would cover a range of industrial processes and particular innovation opportunities in these processes implemented obviously in circular economy context, but we also agreed with our stakeholders on possible test scenarios that we are going to organize in the future through different participatory events that we already foreseen. So speaking actually about this activity, here on this slide you can see best practice representatives, but also some of our stakeholders that we have involved in this process. So, for example, we involved a Bergholz initiative, for example, which collects some major companies that are active in wood production. And this initiative, for example, merges 200 companies. And this one is a model for recycling management for over 20 years. Also, speaking about Chamber of Commerce in Vorarlberg. This is also an example of best practice and also our stakeholder. And they have about 200 offices, and majority of these offices offer intelligent solutions to actively shape recycling economy and to involve some principles of circular economy in general in their work. A very important stakeholder here is also the platform, which one of the stakeholders, we have one stakeholder who is representative of this platform. And this is innovation platform that accounts of about 40 regional companies. And these aim to actually come closer to the edge of innovation also through circular economy principles and to other innovation fields that support this context. They also support digital solutions and inclusion of innovation communities. So these are some examples of best practice and some examples of our stakeholders. And some of them are also members of our circular economy hub in Vorarlberg. So as a result of all these discussions and our experience so far, what are lessons learned? Well, in general, it could be said that research on networking, also the exchange of information and experiences are the most important tool to get closer to more circular economy. And this relates to different actors involved, not only one particular field of their focus. This also relates to different value chains. For example, in construction industry, in our experience through the discussions with our stakeholders from this sector, it seems that market parties are very open and interested and also active to build in a circular way and they actually need clients who have this kind of like a specific need to build in a circular way. And it's known that every building that is constructed in a non-circular way actually hinders high-value reuse of building materials, and it slows the looping of the value chain. So from this perspective, what is common with this sector and with other sectors that we involved, actually they exhibited similar tendencies, and they highlighted this kind of need to bring a circular economy in the focus of regional authorities and government, as this is the way to solve this solution. Another important thing that we observed is that dynamic stakeholder dialogue is a kind of beneficial, and transition could be possible if participants are actively involved and in the process of this transition, and in a way to support the development of a circular culture in all these regions. And here what could be mentioned is, for example, the alignment of needs and mutual knowledge sharing and crossing gaps that exist in this area and this environment of different actors involved in this process. What is also important is that regular meetings of stakeholder groups take place. This could be very much more important actually in the future of implementation of the activities. Also, obviously in the beginning of the process, but for the implementation activities, much more important to have them involved in all areas of implementation of these test scenarios. Also, another point is that good and effective intersectoral cooperation between different institutions at regional, also at local level can also support this kind of efficient joint action. And for example, if practices are consolidated, it's much easier to learn faster and to implement concrete methodologies in a more efficient way. And this is not only related to local authorities, governments, and so on, but also for industrial sector and also for SME sector. What is also interesting to notice is that the lack of trust between parties can be also a factor of slowing the process of implementation of circular economy practices. And obviously, it is very important to promote circular economy even more, and this can be an important factor to open the door to the increased interest actually to the circular economy. And this is indirectly linked to our first point actually. So these are lessons learned that we could share with you in this beginning phase of our pilot implementation, and in the future this will be extended to maybe much more convenient to learn something in the application of circular economy principles. So thank you for the attention, and this is all from me for now.
Thank you very much. Any questions or remarks? If not, I have one. Maybe you can stay on this slide, because I mean, I actually have two questions for this slide. You mentioned the stakeholder dialogue, and when it's dynamic, it's very beneficial. How can you make the dialogue dynamic, or what motivations do they have to have the dynamic dialogue?
Well, from the perspective of making a dialogue more dynamic, well, maybe the range of certain participatory tools and methodologies should be used in this context, and also trying to find a way to make all the sessions and meetings with stakeholders more productive and efficient by implementing these, maybe even design thinking tools, for example, to activate these stakeholders and to motivate them to do more and to do better and to more efficient. What I could mention here is also that, for example, governments could be important in this regard. For example, if they set up some interesting policy instruments. And if, for example, if they define in strategic documents, for example, as certain ways in such implementation, this could also support this process of making conversation and this kind of like discourse more dynamic between stakeholders. There are many ways, but this is what comes to mind right now.
Okay, and the second question comes to trust between partners and the open business models. I mean, what is the state of the art in your region? I mean, is this a big issue, or I mean, how do the companies react to open business models?
Well, one of the main contributors in general, when we are speaking, the lack of trust between parties, for example, especially when we are speaking in commercial terms. For example, it could be, for example, financial resources. And we know that local authorities are difficult in sharing these to the projects supported in local context. But on the other hand, we also have industrial sector who is not open to risks. And by that, also research institutions that will support this faster transition is not very, it's very difficult for them to get also these financial sources. From this perspective, for example, trust could be improved by opening more these policies measures that would support decreased risk for all these partners. But from also other perspectives, trust how can be extended and improved. This is the field of bringing closer certain ideas to actors in to try to reach win-win scenarios. That's what I wanted actually to say in regard to a less general context of developing trust between stakeholders and participants.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more questions? It seems not. So I would like to thank to all of the presenters for showcasing what they did and sharing with us what they have learned. I'm not sure if any would like to add some more remarks when listening to all of these presentations. If yes, now it's the time.
František, yes, from my side, maybe a question for later, because we hopefully will have the possibility to explore if we can have some kind of interaction between pilots. Like, for instance, I see if in Vorarlberg they're dealing with buildings and circular economy and wood buildings, maybe this is interesting for, I don't know, Kranje, who is working on the use of land and the buildings, or at some point we will hopefully have some connection, even if it's not, we do not need to connect all the pilots with all the others, but maybe we'll have some kind of opportunities for connections.
Yes, thank you for pointing this out, because this really brings me to the next small exercise I prepared for you, because I prepared mini survey for all of you to really ask what topics you find interesting from those who what you've heard. I'd also would like to hear from you or read from you what you have learned from this presentation. So I will share my screen. And I will present you what is your next really small task. In the chat, you can find the link to Google form where we prepared small exercise of some mini survey for you. And your task is to click on the link in the chat, then answer 3 questions we prepared for you, then type in info about you, and then submit your answers. We have 5 minutes or 6 minutes to Luxpart, which is the training that is following. So the sooner you finish this, the more time you will have for your break. So in the chat you will find the link, and if you will have some more free time, maybe you can also join our Facebook group. So which is also I mean, the link is also in the chat. So I would like to ask you to help us with this mini survey to get some first information from you, and we would like to work with this in the future to find the collaborations, and also to get the lessons learned which are the most impactful. So I would like to ask you to help us with this.